Good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with the Weather Report, the North Georgia edition, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers as well as YouTube members here on your February the 13th, 2026. Yeah, Friday the 13th. It's also Free Sampler Friday, so it is free to sample for everybody for today. So if you'd like to help support the channel, here's your opportunity as you get an idea of what our daily weather briefs look like, and you're also going to get behind-the-scenes looks of how we're progressing with the build-out of a 24-hour weather channel. So you can really help us out if you become a subscriber or a member over on YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the weather. Today is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Please get outside and enjoy it because we're going to have to deal with some clouds for tomorrow. Still tracking that wet weather for Saturday. And boy, next week temperatures look like they're going to be very much on the warm side. Again, it looks like February is going to finish once again as one of our warmer months for the winter, as typical. It's been like that, I think, the last 6, 7, 8 years going back here. February has been pretty mild and looks like it's going to work that way out again. Now, what we're tracking here for the weekend is this storm system back here. You see this clouds out here across the southwest as this thing's going to quickly progress across the southern tier of the United States. Looks like that's not going to come into our area really until we get into Sunday. So if you have any plans for Valentine's Day itself, I think you're looking okay. Even into the evening hours, you're looking pretty good here for the most part. I think the rain stays away from us until we get into Sunday morning. But today, we're just going to have plain old-fashioned sunshine across the area. Looking very nice here across North Georgia. Now, so go ahead and take a look at the surface map here. You kind of see where that precipitation is. I kind of got it lined up here so you can kind of see the rain's back over here toward Arizona right now. And again, this thing's going to be basically on a beeline, moving due east here on this system as it moves toward our area. But right now, we still got high pressure in control. You see the big high there over Alabama kind of dictating our weather for today. So looking very nice. Might see a few high clouds, but otherwise temperatures fairly seasonable, maybe slightly above average, but really not bad here for us on your Friday the 13th. Watches and warnings, not a problem, except for some fog down along the Gulf Coast. Otherwise, looking pretty good here across Alabama and Georgia, looking pretty good. Radar remains clear, should remain that way until we get into Sunday. And although we're going to get rain on Sunday, not as much as I would like to see across the area. It's going to be fairly widespread, but the amounts have really backed off. One thing we've seen a lot this winter is we'll get these outlooks for precipitation, and they're on the high side. And as we get closer to them, it shrinks it right back almost every time. It seems like this winter it's been pretty active with that scenario. All right, now what we are going to be watching for this upcoming weekend, though, going into your Sunday, is we are going to see some active severe weather. Not in North Georgia. I think North Georgia we're going to stay on the cool side. We're going to be a little bit too stable here for it to be a problem for us. But if you are traveling down toward the south, you need to watch out for that here. As you can see, we're okay up across our area, but heading over toward Alabama or down toward southwest Georgia, or if you're heading down to the Gulf Coast, yeah, you might see an isolated severe thunderstorm down that way. But for our area, I think we'll be okay. And it's also those thunderstorms. I've seen this repeatedly in the past. Well, maybe why we're not getting as much rain is those thunderstorms to the south may steal some of that moisture that we would get. I think that's a possible set up for that as well here with this situation. All right, so let's go take a look at the North American model. We're going to look at the kind of what the reflectivity, what the radar representation is going to look like here for the weekend. Watch a little timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner as we go forward here. Again, not looking too bad. Again, we're looking good for Friday, Saturday. Notice as we go to 7 o'clock on Saturday, we've still got the precipitation well off toward our west. So again, if you got any plans for Saturday night, no problems, okay? So it looks like we don't start getting some rain in until we get toward the morning hours. And even then, it's not that impressive. And really, what the NAM's kicking out here is not all that impressive as far as the rain as well. European is also showing a similar situation here. So by 10 o'clock, you got some rain falling here across the area. 1 o'clock, pretty good moderate rain here across a lot of North Georgia as this thing goes on by. And it looks like as we get to 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm hoping it's cleared out by that time because the wife and I are going to a concert here on Sunday night. It clears on out, and it looks like we're in store for a pretty quiet week, although the skies will not be like blue skies like today. I think there'll be a little bit of a kind of a partly sunny type of situation setting up for next week here across the area. And there's a reason for that, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, as far as the precipitation totals are concerned here, again, kind of taking this all the way out, they're showing, we might see some isolated pockets here. Let me switch over to the state view here. Maybe up to an inch, possibly in here, so you can see a little bit of that. but otherwise not that bad as far as the rainfall totals. We could definitely take it. The grounds are pretty bad. The new drought index came out yesterday, and a lot of the states under level 2, level 3 drought, and that's only going to continue to get worse as the temperatures get warmer, and these rain events continue to stagger out a week between events, and it's just not enough to help beat back our drought conditions across our area. Now, as far as temperatures for today, this is not bad. We'll definitely take this. You got temperatures up in the 50s up in the mountains. You're going to have low 60s around the periphery out to the west and down toward metro Atlanta. Very similar to what we had yesterday here across the area. Now, as far as what the jet stream pattern is looking like, okay, now the jet stream, that's what dictates our weather. We're looking for the troughs and the ridges on where the major storm systems are. And one thing you're going to notice, we're not going to see any big troughs or ridges. We got a very fast flow across the country, so that's going to keep those cloudies kind of in and out of our area here. And it's going to keep us on the mild side, because watch what happens with this jet. We got this jet. There's that piece of energy right back here. This is our energy. You see this little piece right back here. This is what's racing toward us here as we go toward this upcoming Sunday. So as this thing comes on through, you'll see it kind of roll its way right on through. Here it goes on Sunday, so it's sitting right on top of us at that point. So sitting right in here as that moves on through. Once it moves on through, the main jet stream is going to be off toward our north. So we got a pretty good ridging in here. So look, I mean, that's a very strong jet, but that is a very, what we call, zonal flow here across there. We got high pressure down here building across South Texas, northern Mexico, and we're kind of on the periphery of this thing. So we're going to stay on the warm side going toward the middle of next week with above normal temperatures shooting probably well into the 70s, especially by the time we get toward Friday. And again, that main jet stays there. There's a system that's going to try to work in on Saturday, it looks like. But again, the main jet stream is really not all that bad. We got a very active subtropical there that's going to keep those clouds in a little bit. But overall, look at that big zonal flow going all the way out to the end of the month. So right now, at least the way the European is seeing this, we don't have any major cold outbreaks coming at us through the end of the month. Now, that's, of course, subject to change. Of course, this is a 15-day model outlook, so we're kind of looking for continuity at this point, all right? Now, as we go ahead and take a look at this is the 500 millibar anomaly map. This is where we kind of identify where those weaknesses are and where those storms are, and like this is our weakness. This is the one that was kind of heading toward us for this weekend. And the one thing you're going to notice is once this thing goes by, once that system goes by, there's really kind of a lack of seeing anything there. Again, all that oranges and reds, that's higher pressure. The blues and the greens, that's your lower pressure. And we're not seeing a whole lot of systems coming in. There's one coming in. It does weaken down a little bit going into Friday and Saturday the following weekend. Look at this huge ridge there there's this humongous ridge here kind of formed back over Florida here going in toward that following Saturday, the 21st. But otherwise, it's looking pretty quiet for the most part here as we go through the next couple of weeks. So as you can see, the oranges and reds, definitely winning the battle. It's definitely much more active out there on the West Coast. All right, so let's go look at our forecast maps here, because we kind of watch this one rain event coming on through here. Here's the one we're tracking for this weekend. We just talked about that. That goes on by. And then for most of next week, there's Monday, Tuesday, nothing there. Wednesday's looking good. No problems there. Thursday, now we're getting some stuff. We get toward the end of next week. Friday, we may bring in some showers in here, and then maybe bring in some wet weather the following Saturday. So again, we're going 6-7 days between rain events. It's not very helpful there, but at least it looks like it's a little wet here for the following weekend, Friday, Saturday, maybe a couple days of rain come on this. And again, it'll be a little aggressive with those rain totals as well. Look at the rain totals here. This is the rain totals here for this upcoming weekend event. Again, maybe some isolated areas showing 1 inch. You see a little one up there, and here's one up here. But on average, I would say anywhere across the area looks like anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, which is basically similar to what the NAM was showing, with some isolated pockets of 1 inch plus for that event. Now, watch what happens when I look ahead toward the following weekend. Remember, I was telling you those rainfall amounts tend to get a little exaggerated going out that far. Look at this. The following weekend, it blows up again 3-4 inches. We've seen that repeatedly here. So until we get closer, we'll see what that has to show, but it's a little bit early to tell whether that we're going to get that kind of rain. So this is a 10-day total outlook here on that. All right, now let's go take a look at your temperatures here. Here's another part of the story. Now Sunday, obviously, this is the reason why we're not going to get any severe weather. Look how cool it is up here across North. We've got temperatures in the 40s and 50s in here. That's pretty stable air across our area. Now watch what happens for next week, guys. This thing really gets a little warm. We got Monday. We'll be sitting here in the 60s for the most part, looking pretty good there. Going into your Tuesday next week, we're getting into here's some 70s in here, in the upper 60s. Very warm next week. Wednesday does back it off a little bit because of clouds a little bit. These goes to about 1 o'clock, and here's Thursday. Again, well into the 60s once again. Check out Friday. Next Friday should really get spikes here. Boom. We're looking at mid-70s. Got upper 70s down here in South Georgia. 70s all over the place. There is a frontal system that remember we got that front coming in on Saturday. So there's a front that kind of sneaks in here going into your Saturday. Yeah, you think you got a frontal system there? Yeah, pretty good bet. You can see that lines up pretty well there going into that following weekend. But again, we got a long way to watch that for now. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. Looking at your climate outlook here. Again, we're looking at above normal temperatures here for a lot of the southeast to continue here. This outlook here goes from the 18th to the 22nd, and as we go further into it, again, the 20th to the 26th, still looking at a well above normal temperatures to continue. The 6 to 10 day outlook on the dry side, I concur with that. That's definitely staying in the cards. And then here on the 8 to 14, it tries to bring us at least near normal, I would say, here across North Georgia, although a little bit of green there showing up there across parts of North Georgia, just a little bit there on the outlook. But I would just say, normal rainfall will be something to be nice if we get that on a regular basis, but not seeing a whole lot of that. So the trend continues here with the warm February. I've had a lot of folks asking me, hey, we're going to get another snow, or we're going to get, is it going to get cold again? I would say as every day progresses right now, right to the end of February, I would say the odds of us getting into snow are probably next to zero. I mean, it's not 0-0. Obviously, everybody remembers, well, what about the storm of 93? Well, I was almost 35 plus years ago, long time ago, 32 years ago, 33 years ago. So anything's possible, but at this point, I think we're getting too late into the season, too long in the tooth, and the outlook says we're mild here for the rest of the month. So I don't think we have any real significant opportunities to see snow. We did see it twice this, 2 different winter events this past year. We had 2 last year as well. So I'd say we probably hit our limit there. The thing I am concerned about going into the March is going to be severe weather season. We're going into a neutral phase of the jet stream, and typically when that happens, it's lining up for March and April. That can be a little more active as far as severe weather potential, at least looking at years past. So something we're watching very, very closely here on the channel. And of course, we have our new weather app, which will be launched. Hopefully, I did all the Android and Apple stuff. Hopefully, we're not trying to get it out by the 1st of March. So you guys will have that in your back pocket in a tool here as far as severe weather is concerned. All right, that's it for today. I got to go on to Fox 5 here later this morning. So hope to see you. I'll be working at the 10, the noon, and the 4 o'clock today on the main broadcast. All right, you guys take it easy and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.